After all the build-up, there were few surprises in this week's budget. The Chancellor had relatively little room for manoeuvre within the public finances, and what he did have to give away was focused on keeping unemployment down, restarting the house building sector, and a few small giveaways for business. There's two issues we really want to focus on. The first is the state of the public finances. Depending on which newspaper you read, the forecast for borrowing for this year at £175 billion was either eye-watering or realistic. Over the next 5 years, borrowing will total around £700 billion. The Chancellor is pinning his hopes on a robust return to growth in 2011, fiscal drag and efficiency savings on bringing the public finances back into balance. This wasn't quite the credible framework we were looking for, and it certainly won't allow businesses fears that tax rises will come beyond the next general election. The second area of interest in this budget was the support offered to business. Over the past 6 months, manufacturers have been grappling with a collapse in demand and are now looking at how they can position themselves for the upturn. Companies were looking to the budget to provide the support needed to ensure they can sustain their competitiveness in the long run. The Chancellor stepped in on a couple of fronts, notably much needed support for trade credit insurance, £300 million for a vehicle scrappage scheme for owners of vehicles over 10 years old, welcome but not as generous as our continental partners, an increase in first-year capital allowances effective from April the 1st, and some additional funding for low-carbon technologies. Although offsetting this to some extent was the increase in the statutory redundancy pay. So how will we judge this budget? EEF was looking for the Chancellor to bring forward measures that would help alleviate cash flow pressures facing manufacturers and support investment for the upturn. On both measures, he could have done better. It was disappointing that support for skills retention and innovation did not feature in this budget, but EEF will continue to campaign on these issues.